She had a good husband, faithful, hardworking, devoted, but she couldn't see it. All she could see was every woman who might want what she had. And in trying to protect her marriage, she became the very thing that destroyed it. If you had met Tunde and Sade in their early days, you would have sworn they were made for each other. They met during their NYSC in Abuja. Tunde was the quiet, focused type, an engineering graduate who spoke less but observed everything. Sade was the opposite, bright, lively, and impossible to ignore. She had a way of laughing that made people turn their heads and a confidence that filled every room she entered. At first, Tunde admired her from a distance. Sade, on the other hand, noticed him almost immediately. "Why are you always so serious?" she asked one afternoon during a group CDS. Tunde looked up, slightly startled. "I'm not serious. I just don't talk too much." She laughed. "That's the same thing." That was how it started. Simple conversations turned into long walks. Long walks turned into late-night calls. Before the end of their service year, they were inseparable. After NYSC, reality hit. Tunde got a job in Lagos with a construction firm. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills and had growth potential. Sade moved back to Ibadan at first, trying to figure out her next step. But distance didn't weaken their bond. If anything, it made it stronger. Every weekend, Tunde would travel to see her. When money was tight, they would spend hours on the phone talking about their future. "We'll make it," Tunde would always say. And Sade believed him. 3 years later, they got married. The wedding was beautiful, not overly extravagant, but filled with genuine joy. Friends and family danced, prayed, and celebrated what seemed like a perfect union. Sade moved to Lagos to join her husband. At first, everything was peaceful. They lived in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Surulere. Tunde worked long hours, trying to climb the ladder. Sade started a small online fashion business, selling clothes, wigs, and accessories on Instagram. They were not rich, but they were comfortable. More importantly, they were happy. The change didn't happen overnight. It started small, almost invisible. One evening, Tunde came home late from work. "I'm sorry," he said, dropping his bag. Sade nodded, but her face was tight. "Which site?" Tunde paused. "The one in Lekki." "Who are you with?" He frowned slightly. "Sade, what kind of question is that?" She shrugged. "I'm just asking." He laughed it off. But that was the first crack. Over time, the questions became more frequent. "Who called you? Why are you smiling at your phone? Why did you come home late again?" At first, Tunde answered patiently. He believed transparency would calm her fears. But instead, it seemed to feed them. One night, Sade picked up his phone while he was in the bathroom. When he came out, she was sitting on the bed, staring at the screen. "Who is Engineer Chioma?" Tunde sighed. "She's a colleague." "Why is she messaging you by 9 p.m.? "It's work." Sade scoffed. Work or something else? That night ended in their first real argument. After that, things escalated quickly. Sade started going through his phone regularly, checking his messages, scrolling through his call logs, even reading his emails. Tunde protested at first. "This is not healthy," he said. But Sade would cry. "I just don't want to lose you," she'd say, tears streaming down her face. "I've seen too many stories. Men change. And because he loved her, he gave in. But love doesn't always fix insecurity. Sometimes it feeds it. Sade began to see threats everywhere. If Tunde greeted a female neighbor, she noticed. If he liked a female colleague's post, she questioned it. If he mentioned a woman's name at work, it became an issue. You respect those women more than me, she would say. Tunde grew frustrated. How can you say that? He asked one night. Everything I do is for this family. But Sade was no longer hearing him. She was hearing her fears. The real damage began when Sade took things outside the home. One afternoon, she showed up unannounced at Tunde's office. The receptionist was surprised but let her in. When she got to his floor, she saw him talking to a female colleague, Chioma. They were standing close, looking at a document. To Tunde, it was normal. To Sade, it was confirmation. Before anyone could react, she stormed over. So, this is what you do at work? She shouted. The entire office froze. Tunde's face drained of color. Sade, what are you doing here? Chioma stepped back, confused. Excuse me? Shut up, Sade snapped. People began to gather. Whispers filled the air. What is going on? Is that his wife? Sade pointed at Chioma. You think I don't know what's happening? You're chasing my husband. Chioma looked shocked. Excuse me? Tunde grabbed Sade's arm. Let's go outside, now. But she pulled away. No, you want to disgrace me privately. Let's do it publicly. The scene went on for several minutes. Loud, ugly, uncontrolled. By the time Tunde managed to drag her out of the office, the damage had already been done. That day changed everything. At work, people started looking at Tunde differently. Some pitied him, others avoided him. His boss called him in. This kind of drama cannot happen again, he said, firmly. Tunde apologized repeatedly, but the trust was already shaken. At home, things got worse. Instead of calming down, Sade became more convinced. You see, you are only angry because you are caught. Tunde stared at her in disbelief. Caught for what? You know what? Arguments became daily. Sometimes they lasted hours. Sometimes they ended in silence. Cold, heavy silence that filled the entire house. Tunde started staying out longer. Not because of another woman, but because home no longer felt like peace. Sade noticed, and it fueled her even more. You see, I knew it, she shouted one night. You don't even want to come home again. Tunde ran his hair through his hair. Because every time I come home, it's war. Then go to your women. I don't have any women. Liar! The breaking point came months later. Another incident, another accusation, another public scene. This time it was at a company event. Tunde had begged Sade not to come. Please, he said, let's avoid drama. But Sade insisted. I am your wife. I have a right to be there. The event was meant to be formal, professional, important for Tunde's career. For the first hour, everything was fine. Then Sade saw Tunde laughing with a group that included 2 female colleagues. That was enough. She walked straight into the group. Are you enjoying yourself? She loudly asked. Tunde froze. Sade? Which one is the new one? She continued, scanning the women. The room fell silent. The audience more important. Within weeks, Tunde was called into HR. Shortly after, he lost his job. The official reason was workplace disruption, but everyone knew the truth. When Tunde got home that day, he sat quietly. Sade noticed immediately. What happened? He looked at her. Long, tired, empty. I lost my job. The words hung in the air. Sade laughed nervously. Stop joking. I'm not joking. Silence. For a moment, guilt flickered in her eyes, but instead of accepting it, she deflected. Maybe it's for the best. That place was full of distractions anyway. Tunde stared at her. You still don't see it, do you? See what? This. You destroyed this. Sade scoffed. So now it's my fault? Yes, he said. Calm, firm, certain. The truth hit harder than any insult.
From that day, everything went downhill. Without a job, pressure increased. Bills piled up. Rent became a concern. Tension filled every corner of the house. And slowly, Sade began to see what she had done. The man who once smiled easily was now withdrawn. The laughter was gone. The warmth gone. He stopped sharing, stopped explaining, stopped trying. One evening, after a long silence, Tunde spoke. I can't do this anymore. Sade's heart dropped. What do you mean? I'm tired, he said. Tired of proving myself. Tired of being accused. Tired of living like a criminal in my own home. Tears filled her eyes. I was just scared. And now, he asked, what are you now? She had no answer. A few weeks later, Tunde moved out. The separation was quiet, painful, final. Sade stayed in the house alone. For the first time in years, silence. Months later, she heard Tunde had gotten a new job in another city. He was doing better, healing, moving on. Sade tried to reach out, but some damage doesn't reverse. She sat one evening, staring at her phone, tears rolling down her face. And in that quiet moment, she understood the full weight of her actions. Love is not control. Love is not fear. Love is not suspicion. And when jealousy is left unchecked, it doesn't protect what you have. It destroys it. Insecurity and unchecked jealousy can ruin even the strongest relationships. Trust, communication, and self-awareness are not optional in love. They are essential. Once broken, some things cannot be fully restored.